Well, today I'm going to put the valves back on. You can see I got one back on already. Got my little retainers on here, just in case for some reason it wants to drop a valve. Maybe that'll save me. Got that all back on. A lot of deliberation about these little rubber deals. Some add-on afterwards. They go up and down literally with the valve. I don't know if they're supposed to or not. But my buddy Jim had the set on his tractor, and we got him a new set. And I went on to a Farmall forum and found that this number from Napa for valve stem seals works. Move it to the next one. Push that down. I'm going to scoop her down without doing much damage, I hope. Gonna loosen her up. Makes a gasket sealant that they say can be used for freeze plugs. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use it for a freeze plug. That's like a gasket maker. This stuff is a gasket sealant. Fast drying, hard setting. Clean to the point where I can see even how they milled it. So I think I got this pretty good. So I'm just going to keep at it, trying to coat any imperfections. And it says to let it tack up. Okay, I put my Permatex sealant all the way around there, made for freeze plugs. Works for freeze plugs, it says. Permatex says. It's good for it. I ran a little bead all the way around the outer edge of it too. Okay. And I'm just going to set it in there. Just going to push it in. Take a hammer. Big enough socket that goes around the whole deal. It's a 2-inch freeze plug. And just put that in there like that. A ball peen hammer. You can see even on this other one how it was nailed right in the center. So I'm hoping I can get this right, guys. If not, I'll be buying me a new freeze plug. So I'm going to put it right dead in the center. That galley goes all the way through. Oh, I can't push it. It ain't moving. I'm just gonna put a little bead around this sucker, you know, closed off so it won't leak. And what I'm gonna do is add water to the block on the back side through this water opening. Warm water. See what we get. Okay. I had success. I have no leakage around my water plug, which I didn't think I would, and I have no leakage underneath. Getting down on my knees and taking a look up in there, it's been over an hour. I don't see nothing. No drips, no nothing. Everything is awesome. So my water test passes. That's the fill level plug. Still coming. This is what came out of the fill level plug. This is what's come out of the drain plug. So I'm going to attempt to put the flywheel back on today. The clutch, pressure plate, and looking at my service manual, it says that these bolts that hold the flywheel on need to be attached at 37 foot-pounds of torque. Just like this. Get it on as far as I can. There. and it'll hold itself. Then I'm going to get it and using just the butt end of it just to try to get it on as much as I can. The bolts all look good, everything's clean. I'm going to torque it all down at 20 to begin with. There's 37, which is what the manual says it needs to be. There's 37. There's 37. Okay, finding the flat spots on the bolt head. Managed to bring it up. Okay. After I got them up with the pair of pliers, I just kind of pounded them around the top of the bolt just to keep them inboard more. Soaked it in kerosene, cleaned it really good. Gave her a shot of brake clean all the way around, got any loose debris in there so nothing would hang up when you press the clutch in or release it. Them springs are strong. So the next thing I'm going to do is put her together. And you can watch me do this. Clutch goes in, directional, like that. Just going to set it in there. Take my pressure plate, line her all up, and at this point all I'm going to do is still loose, as you can see, is I'm going to hand start all my screws. Get them all up there and right on. Here's where it gets tricky for putting the tractor back together. You buy those pins that you can put in there, and I'm going to eye this up the best I can without putting too much pressure on the pressure plate. There, push on it, then I'm going to center it up. See how I can move that around? And it'll stay because I got light friction pressed with these screws, just enough. Can't find the torque on these bolts anywhere. Even the suffix that they have on the bolt head. So I went to the general torque recommendations and talked to my dad and my brother, and I put her at 20 pounds. And when I took these off, they weren't that hard to get off. They kind of just broke loose. So I'm going with that, guys. So hopefully I'm not making a mistake. And I guess if any of you see this video before I can get her back together, you got your ideas, let me know too. But it was binding, so I had to lift up on the drawbar in the back a little bit to get her broken loose. But, whoo, that's a beer drinking job there, boys. I wanted to get this so I could take a look at the seal. And now I can roll it right back out of the way. And what a mess it is. The level in this tractor casing was at least as high. I know it was. 2, I know these are felt seals. I'm pretty sure they are. I'm going to look at the owner's manual and double check that. The third thing I know is that these bolts were all loose. They weren't where I could turn them, loose them with my fingers, but when I put my open end wrench on there, my 9/16, I literally could just half turn and tighten them up. Every one of them was needing a snug up. 2, I'm going to put kerosene in there to about this high, a couple gallons. 2 gallons probably is what it's going to take. I'm going to let it sit. And I'm going to see if there's any leakage past these gaskets out here. Because I know that gear lube oil, this 80-90 weight stuff that goes in it, I know that when it's cold it's like syrup, it's even thicker. When it warms up and gets used, it thins out, it kind of lightens up, and it gets wet and it shows itself a little bit more when it's not so, when it's warmed up. You may think, wow, Steve. Well, I can tell you what, makes a nice little, because I'm at this stage, makes a nice little gauge where I can tell you I got that in, that clutch plate is lined up perfectly. So I'm not unhappy about that one bit.